Yeah. Nice. There we go. And then the music. Perfect. And welcome to the show.
Welcome to the show.
Anyways, whatchamacallit, um, welcome to the show. I'm going to improvise around this because I had a whole bunch of ideas in my brain and they all left me. All of them. It was violently evacuated away. Anyways, welcome a new guest. Or I guess new guest. I mean, you're not that new. You're
I'm
alright.
new to Toast Talk.
Yeah, new to Toast Talk. Anyways,
Yeah.
whatchamacallit. Lord, I'm freezing up. I had so many ideas on the brain. Anyways, did you know that antimatter costs $62 trillion per gram?
The fuck? But I thought, what? What?
I don't know why. I just got to this morning. I got to just waking up and thinking, I feel like randomly browsing some interesting facts. Just to know. You know, it's like actively searching for Snapple facts. I love to do it.
Did they actually figure out how to make it?
It's sort of makeable in a funny sense, you know. There's a process of doing something. There's a process of doing things to protons and to neutrons of very, very, very low matter material like hydrogen and shit. Unfortunately, I have no idea what that process is, nor I don't think it's a public thing. Otherwise, people might be just all over the place making their own. I mean, why would you go get the antimatter from the scientist people when you can just brew some at home?
Yeah, right? No.
I mean, imagine just brewable, perfect little antimatter that you can make at home. Reminds me of this little science sim that I used to play one time. It was back in the elementary school days, and it was this little website that just had all these science simulations at home that you could just run on your computer. It's like, hey, you'll learn about science. And on a lot of them, it liked to talk about concepts like space travel, time, the effects of things like wormholes, gravitational compression at Lagrange points. If you don't know what Lagrange points are, they're just random spots in space that have a lot of gravity in them.
Uh-huh.
And they appear everywhere. It's why Einstein said that when you move really fast in space, you go really slow in time.
Well.
Sorry. Because there are these random, very random, because they could just legitimately be anywhere, theoretically. These random little pockets of gravity that could be anywhere. And unfortunately, the science sim had a bunch of those where it showed, hey, let's see what happens if we take you. You are a tiny person. You are a little person in this little spaceship. Let's see if we just shove you through one of those. See what happens.
That sounds like an excellent idea.
And in one of them, it talked about the concepts of using wormholes, harnessing wormholes, just the general, let's see what kind of business we can make around a wormhole. It's like, how are we going to make a wormhole? Well, first we need to compress a lot of gravity and a lot of energy into one place and literally punch a hole through space-time. I myself am still fumbling with a true concept of space-time, because whenever people think of space-time, they just think like a wishy-washy concept of here's outer space and here's just like a bunch of floaty mystical mess in the middle and space-time, you know?
I think it's something like with time is relative to the space it's occupying at that moment in time, I guess, whatever. So, like, say a black hole sucks in all light and everything like that. So, if you were to travel into a black hole, you would be able to see light that's over millions of years old. So it'd
But
be like if you were in that time, but you're not actually really in that time, you're just seeing what's in that time.
But then, like, when we make the association that, time will comprise whatever space it can occupy, and then that our perception of that space is light, doesn't that kind of mean, in like a roundabout perceptive kind of way, that time only moves when we're observing it?
Um,
Because we can
because I
make like
think
Heisenberg's like fucking funny ass hypotheses of like, what if time is like a is like an IO progressive thing, where you observe it, then it is changing, but when you're not observing it, it's static and unchanging. So time only moves when we think about time moving.
huh.
Because I mean, thinking about something is kind of like actively perceiving it, isn't it?
Well, what is it like in that movie where it's Lucy, where she's
Oh
like,
Jesus, where she
you
takes
know,
that pill that basically jacks her shit all the way up to 9,000.
yeah, it's like a big bag of drugs.
You know what that movie reminded me of? I remember seeing the fucking trailer for that. You want to know what that immediately reminded me of?
Hello?
Remember? Yeah.
Oh, there you are.
Sorry, I think I cut off for a second. But you know what that movie reminded me of? Coincidentally.
Limitless?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, it's the
Limitless.
same
Ex-
thing, pretty much.
Except wasn't Limitless like a little more logical?
Yeah, yeah, it was definitely more down to earth.
Cause I mean, it's like here's this pill that literally turns you into like a fucking superhero off of the TV show Heroes. Remember that shit?
Oh yeah,
As I mean, that looked. I mean, they sold the effects, and the way they
yeah.
wanted to tie
It was like
everything
a
together.
more fantasy than like possible like surreal,
But
I
like it
guess.
tied it into it like really drove the part across. They made sense with what they had. And then they came out with Limitless, and they think, you know what, this like makes sense, doesn't it? We'll just take observations and like analyzed facts and little details that we can take out of like real world people. Like for instance, this one dude in Korea who's the Guinness World Record for the highest official IQ in the world, and it's like an IQ of 300 and something. And of course, it's a Korean, so I mean, to be expected.
Shit.
Not trying to be
Yeah.
stereotypical, but hey, they're smart folks, and they tend to grow up and be born smart. And I can't help but think about it, but it's like we'll take a guy that okay, we know this man is extremely, extremely intelligent. On a left hemisphere of the brain kind of way, he is extremely intelligent. So we'll take like a couple of behavioral patterns from him and we'll tie that into a movie, and it makes sense, and we think, oh, that's great. But then comes Lucy, and it's like, you see this shit right here? If you take this drug, you will shoot lasers out of your
Fuck
eyes.
yeah.
You will be
Fucking
able to
lasers.
you will be able to fucking read people's minds and bend gravity and also fly. Like that's the kind of message, or that's at least the kind of sorta. I don't even think you could call it a theme, but that's the kind of theme they pushed, like with the actual show. Well, not the show, but with like the movie. It's like, here, you know what? I remember Limitless did a bunch of that stuff, and like a lot of sitcoms have kind of made the idea like, hey, what if like an ordinary average person was just thrusted into a position in which they are granted superhuman abilities? What happens then? But the funny thing is, something like Limitless could happen. Something like Limitless is probably very possible.
Actually,
There,
I think
silly
they
little
already did come
sailor.
out with
Welcome
that pill.
aboard my boat.
Who's Oh, you did. Thanks.
What is it? I think BuzzFeed or something or whatever,
Oh God,
uh,
BuzzFeed.
or Daily Post or something. Like they had some of their employees test it out, and they're like, "Yeah, we fucking love this shit."
Well, I don't really trust like the stuff that they say is like, this is real NZT 48 because I remember very good because I actually there's a Wikipedia article about the fictional drug
Oh yeah, no, I mean,
from the movie. It's called NZT 48. It's synthesized in a weird way. It's made in a funky way. It's just a funky drug in general.
yeah, no, I mean, I looked it up, and you can actually buy it, and there's more than just those people
And like
reviewing it.
I've seen like so many of the fucking websites like we sell the incredible magical amazing brain drug NZT. Check this shit out. It'll
Yeah.
turn you into God. And it's like how much would you like to wager that whatever this product is that these people are selling are literal placebos, just really fancily carved placebos. Somebody went, bought like a whole bunch of extremely generic brand tablet placebos and either like dyed them at home or got like a needle, like a little needle, and just carved in like a bunch of funky shit into it so it looks legit. Because have you ever seen pictures on Google Images? Like if you type into pictures on Google Images drugs, you come out with all these like images of pills in different colors and they have all these wacky symbols and drawings on them. And usually that's kind of how it is. People like to put drawings and symbols and carve really artistically sculpted mess onto them to like know, hey, that's the real deal, and to like set it apart. And people will do that. People will mimic this. They'll just take random placebos. They'll buy like a whole bunch for very cheap because it's literally sugar pills. It's just powdered sugar made into a pill. It
Oh
won't
yeah.
it won't do anything to you except just kind of maybe raise your sugar in your blood a little bit. And whatchamacallit, they'll just carve a bunch of stuff into it and they'll put it in these really big plastic covered bottles, like these bottles that are just brightly lit, all these neon colors, all these fantastical eye-catching designs, like smothered, completely
Oh yeah.
drenched on the bottle, and then they just
Oh,
put
and
it
that presentation.
and then they just put it on a website and say, check it out. We made it. Can't
Check
tell
out
you
this
how.
shit.
Please don't try to figure out how we made this. We went to great lengths to cover up our transaction records. So you won't know that we actually just bought a whole bunch of placebos from
Oh
a
man, that reminds me of
pharmacy.
this one guy that my dad used to work for. He was dumb as shit, and somehow was rich as fuck, and also the boss, right? And he like would go online and talk to these people from Africa who are like, "Oh, if you send me $20,000, I'll come over there and clean your house and be
Wait,
your wife or blah blah blah."
wait. Did
Get the
he get
money.
did he get duped by the fucking Nigerian prince shit?
Oh no, dude, he got duped by everybody there. I mean,
I
like, no shit, this went on for like over 20 years.
I didn't think that the Nigerian prince stuff actually fooled people. I thought that was just like an internet meme.
Oh no, dude, there's some people out there that just don't quite get it.
I swear. Remember when that
There's,
first started? Remember when and nobody cuz everybody like the internet was like sort of kind of still in like the it was in the ending phase of like its new phase cuz like the internet like blew up, it became mainstream.
yeah.
And then it was like in this big new phase and it's like wow it's great and amazing and then the new phase lasted for a while and then the new phase declined and on like the decline of the new phase and it's like everybody's all now we're all comfortable with now we're all comfortable with our internet and like we know the bads and the goods, well not all the bads just yet, but we know a good amount for it that we can trust it. And then all of a sudden, people start getting the fucking mass chain mails in their email inboxes. Hey, um, I'm a Nigerian prince. Like, I'm just
Yeah.
straight up royalty from the country of Nigeria, Africa. I'm
No, it's
currently
even
in jail for some stupid mess. And I need you specifically, a person that I, like, statistically would have had no ways of contacting. I need you to just wire me, like, a couple thou from your bank
just a
account.
couple.
So, like, a couple thou, you know?
Yeah, it ain't no
From
thing.
from your bank account, just over, the usual money transfer instruments or systems in place that make that happen. I need you to do that. I swear to God, I have like billions in my bank account, dude. I got fat stacks, and all those fat stacks would be yours if you just bust me out of prison. Okay, like, see, here's the thing. If you bust a normal person out of prison, would they be willing to part with a large sum of money?
Nah.
No, dude, like regular prison people. Prison people.
I don't think I don't think it's I don't think most people would want to part with that much.
I don't think like regular people that get to prison or are sent to prison for whatever reason and then get the opportunity to be busted out. I don't think even they would think like turn around to their the person who busted them out and said, "Wow, that was a really cool thing of you. Here, let me just throw some fat stacks into your hands. Thank you, sir." I wish that would happen because like the industry of prison busting would grow.
Oh,
You'd have people camping out by like the gates of prisons on the daily, just waiting for that guy to come out and just offer him the deluxe "I'm gonna get you out of here" package.
it's
Now
even
think about
better
it. That could be
is
an
how
industry.
he would show up to the airport and they wouldn't be there, and then he would message them the next week and they would be like, "Oh, I'm sorry I couldn't make it. My mom was sick or something." It's like you don't have a mom.
I thought you were a Nigerian prince.
No, it wasn't Nigerian prince. It was like the uh, overseas mail order brides or whatever, I
Ma-
guess.
mail order person from overseas.
Yeah.
A mail order
And
foreigner. I just need a foreign person, real quick.
what is it? He asked one of the guys that worked there. He was like, "Hey, I need you to buy like this many iPads on the company account," and he was gonna send them over there. I was like, "Are you fucking serious?" So
Are
the guy
you?
that did, he was like, "Yeah,
It's
you
like,
know
are you
what?"
gonna do it? Cause it's a bad idea. Very
He's like,
bad.
"Well, he was trying to get some Nigerian iPads for them, so I got me one as well." You didn't even notice.
I
I
got
was
you
like,
got yourself a
"Damn."
Nigerian iPad?
Oh my god, I think it just started something now.
Oh jeez.
Nigerian iPad,
Real
iOS
terror.
10.
It's like real terror, real fear, real iPad.
Oh my god, like how how Apple does the naming with the Mac OS where it's like, what the fuck? Where it's like
iOS,
the
iOS fucking Space Shuttle Apollo 11,
but
iOS
like
Ferrari 12V engine or some shit like that.
what is it? I think it was like uh OS X El Capitan is the new one
Al
or the latest one.
Capitan?
El Capitan.
Wait, wasn't the last
It's
one
like
Yosemite or something?
yeah, Yosemite, which was like some Indian uh death like skinning the scalps and shit. Like it was some weird shit. And I was like, the fuck?
Some weird Indian head scalping shit. That's Apple. Apple.
Oh yeah.
Weird Indian scalping shit. Please buy our iPads now.
And then what was it? The Mavericks one?
Dude,
Like
if you
seriously?
buy like an iPad right now, Apple will give you a Indian at half cost and he will come and he will scalp somebody in front of you. That is a
No,
deal.
no,
That's a
no. That's
deal.
already passed. And now it's El Capitan. Now you get a Spaniard captain.
Oh, now nobody expects the Spanish Inquisition. They always say. I
Oh my
swear to God,
goodness, did you hear?
that's the new slogan, isn't it? And next, it's gonna be iPad, iOS, lifted dream, good vibe, peace and love, happy goodness. And it's like the
Was it?
iPad is going to come shipped in a box of flowers and tulips and nice smelling perfume from the nice store.
Oh God.
And it's gonna be in like bright, happy colors, like bright, soft lilac, lavenders, and pinks, and daisy baby blues, and warm yellows, and soft reds, and deep oranges, and it's gonna just be lovely. It's gonna be wonderful. It's gonna be the best iPad so far. I'd buy that iPad very quickly.
What is it? I had a thought earlier. It was like when like a decade ago, I think, American what do you call it? Science vessel or science ocean ship thing? Yeah, a boat.
Yeah, but you mean that
Anyway,
science machine that floats on the water? You mean a boat?
yeah. So them thingies, right? An American team goes out and they find like a over $200 million worth of gold Spaniard coins that are like over a century or more old.
Oh, they
Like,
found the old
like
shipwrecks at the bottom of the ocean?
yeah, and they found like a huge shit ton of fucking gold doublins or whatever the fuck they call it.
Dubl
Doublins.
doubloons.
Doubloon, whatever. It's not a
Doubloons.
balloon.
Cheddar.
It's not a balloon.
It's not a God, it's not a balloon,
It
it's a
doesn't. It
doubloon.
doesn't float.
Of course it doesn't float, dummy. It's at the bottom of the ocean. What, do you think the boats fucking collapsed after years of neglect and you just see gold coins floating at the ocean? Oh, I'm gonna grab the pool net. Scoop that shit right up.
But I thought that's how it works.
No. No, gold is not floaty. Gold is the opposite of floaty. Gold is sinky.
But
See, in science, you have two physical properties to physical objects. You have sinky and floaty.
Sinky, floaty, and shitty.
Sinky and floaty. And see, the
And half
amount,
and half.
see, the proportions of a physical object's sinkiness and floatiness is dependent on a physical factor called its densiness. If a object is extremely dense, meaning there's a lot of matter in a very little space, that means its sinky ratio will increase as its floaty ratio decreases. Whereas if it was the opposite, if it was not dense or so hollow, a lot of empty space or very little matter, then it would increase floaty. Well, its floaty risk, not floaty risk, but its floaty factor would increase above its sinky factor. See,
I think it's something to do with the molecular weight and the volume, the
see,
mass.
an object's like what determines if an object will float or sink depends on which ratio will be higher than the other. See, if the floaty ratio is above the sinky ratio, the object will float, whereas in a vice versa situation, if the sinky ratio is higher than the floaty ratio, it will sink to the bottom like a sad sack of shit. We all know things that float to the bottom are sad sacks of shit. Just
Damn.
like Keemstar's career.
Oh Jesus,
I did it.
you did.
Please don't come after me, Daniel. I didn't mean it.
What was it? Oh yeah. So back to the story. So Spain was like, "Hey, y'all
That's
found it,
our
but we want
gold.
it." And they're like, "No shit, we found it, bitch. Like, you didn't, you lost that shit long ago, man."
Do you really think like a science committee, like a committee of researchers and scientific explorers and data gatherers really came up to like a Spanish government organization that was requesting the doubloons be brought back, and they were like, "Nah, bro, that shit ours. Fuck off."
Shit. I
we
would.
we respectfully recognize the Spanish government's claim, stake, and request for the uncovered doubloons to be handed over, but our very polite rebuttal towards the request stands to deny them their request to hand over the doubloons because we found that shit first, bro. Nah, that ain't cool.
We
I
found
would
that shit, bruh.
I would love it if some very, very formal, very uptight, stern, rigid official, like the science team's most dignified, most upheld, most respected and revered representative, their public representative, came up to the Spanish government and whatever department of the government which is requesting that these doubloons be handed back to them because they are theirs. I'd love it if he just went up to them and be like, "Nah, bro."
Just whispers it. Nah, bro. Nah. Fuck
We
off.
we recognize and acknowledge this formal request and staked claim on these doubloons, and for the request for them to be handed over. But if we may represent our rebuttal to this agreement, nah, bro.
Nah, bro.
I mean, okay, it makes sense. It's technically Spanish. I mean, if they get any curator could come down there, inspect the doubloons, and they would say, "Yeah, this is Spanish origin. This is mint gold from the conquistador." It's like this is mint gold from the conquistadors. But I mean, think about it. They did. It was found by a foreign science team. You know, the fact that it has like, and you know what, a curator could very well, just as well, check how old the gold is. You know, on
Oh
top
yeah,
of
they did.
yeah, on top of who it comes from, and they like you said, they most likely did, and it is probably hundreds upon hundreds and thousands of years old. And I mean,
Yeah,
it's
no,
like,
no, they had Spain had records from back like fucking forever ago
did
about
they
that
just
ship.
like not want to get it? Were they just like too lazy? They're
No,
like,
they just never found it.
I
I
mean,
think it's like showed up uh from some sort of environmental change or something.
wait. So they knew it was down there. They just never could find it, even looking.
No, they didn't know where to look exactly
Oh, so
because
they
it
never
was.
looked because they just didn't know. Okay. So
But I don't know.
I mean, that's kind of justified. I mean, they didn't look because they didn't know where to look. It's kind of very, very, if, yeah,
Yeah,
that's all right.
yeah, it's whatevs.
I mean, speaking of things that kind of are and aren't fair, fucking, okay, here's a funny thing. This is gonna be an off-topic. Pokemon. How
Oh
come
shit.
how come some Pokemon only have like one evolution? They only just have like one evolution and that's it. Charmander has like four.
Yeah, the mega evolve
Yeah, like
or
he
mega
goes
evolution.
Charmander, he goes Charmeleon, and then he goes Charizard, and then Charizard has like four evolutions.
I
And
don't
then
know.
and they were like, like now he's starting to like his evolution count is starting to rival Eevee. And it's like we all knew that Eevee's evolutions kind of made sense because like a plain Eevee is just plain, right? It's just plain.
Yeah.
It's just they're pretty good, but it's just a plain Eevee. There's nothing special about it. It's like vanilla chocolate. I'm
Yeah, it's a blank slate.
It's like vanilla. I meant to say vanilla ice cream. Chocolate just came into my mind for some reason. But it's vanilla ice cream. It's
Vanilla
just
chocolate.
yeah, it's vanilla chocolate would be like chocolate with vanilla in it. Oh, so good.
Oh,
Anyways,
getting a little excited.
yeah, it's just like vanilla ice cream, you know? It's delicious. It is. It tastes good by itself, but it's just plain. There's nothing in it. There's no flavor. You know? You taste vanilla, and that's it. It it's
Except vanilla.
it's just plain. Like
Oh
there's
yeah.
nothing special to it.
It's an empty canvas.
It really is an empty canvas. And then you start to grab like chocolate, and then you start to grab blueberry, and then you grab lemon, and then you grab pecan, and then you grab
Pecan.
and then you grab
Oh
sprinkles,
god.
you grab cherries, you grab fudge, you grab caramel, you even grab strawberry syrup. You just put all these combinations into it, and now it's like you can make your own flavor. Eevees are like, yeah, I have a plain one, but I'd like a dark one, you know? Like a dark brooding one. So I get like a dark Eevee. What's the dark Eevee called?
But what?
Is it a Vaporeon?
Oh, I don't fucking know what
Let me
they
look it
call
up.
them now.
Let me just look up all the evolutions of Eevee. All all evolutions. Oh
All
wow.
evolutions. Oh,
Okay.
maybe that's where they came up with the name.
Okay.
Or I
Okay.
don't know. I think I've seen the name Eevee used before.
Oh, all right. Here we go. All of Eevee's evolutions. All of the no, all of his evolutions. Anyways, it's like, what if I want an Eevee? I want like a dark, brooding Eevee that's like mysterious and cool and aloof and kind of darkish. Well, there you go. You can evolve it into an Umbreon, and he's a dark type. Oh, that's cool. I want a fiery, aggressive, strong, loyal Eevee that can shoot fire and is like really cool. Well, here you go. Here's a Flareon. I want a cute, fluffy, fluttery, frilly, glamorous, fabulous Eevee that's all cute and nice looking. Well, here's a Sylveon, a fairy type. I want like a cool, like slightly mysterious but like quiet, not brooding but almost kind of even like nihilistic, like a cold, sharp Eevee. Well, here's a Glaceon, ice type. I want like a cat Eevee, like something that's kind of like eerie and mind twisting and boggling and kind of also mysterious, but mysterious in like the psychological way, like like creepy. It's not creepy, but like a silent psychological kind of like House. If you could put House, the character, into an Eevee form, well, here's an Espeon, a psychic type. And
Yeah.
and and what if I just want an electric Eevee because I accidentally chose Team Instinct as my team for Pokemon Go? I got Jolteon. And then you have a Vaporeon that's a water type, and nobody. I mean, if you like Vaporeons, that's okay. That's fine. I personally don't see them into anything, uh, you know, special.
Special.
And I think the Eevee evolution, excuse me, evolutions.
Oh my goodness. You
I
really had
can't.
to try for that one.
I can't say it's puns killed my family. I can't say puns because. Oh, also can't forget Leafeon, grass type. It looks fine. A leaf looks like a tail looks like a leaf. He's a grass type Pokemon, and he looks fine, but yeah. Truth be told,
Yeah.
Umbreon, Glaceon looks super cool to me. Espeon looks super cool. Sylveon, I don't know. I don't know if a lot of people like Sylveon because it's a fairy type. I think Sylveon looks very cool. I would personally like a Sylveon, If
Yeah.
if I had to start a Pokemon game and the game was like, okay, so we're gonna start you off, but we're gonna start you off like you're not gonna get the regular starters. Instead, here is a plain Eevee, and here are all of his evolutions. You have to choose an Eevee. You have to choose one of 9 kinds of Eevees. Would you like normal plain Eevee? Would you like fairy Eevee, grass, dark, fire, electric, water, psychic, or ice? Pick your Eevee. Pick which one you like.
Does it come with sprinkles?
This comes with sprinkles. do but do do Eevees come with sprinkles? They probably
Yes.
don't.
That is the most important question any Pokemon trainer could ask.
And you know what the thing is? There are like some Eevees right now, but there are like a bunch of types that haven't come out yet. Like a bunch of Eevee types that like still haven't been covered yet. Like whatchamacallit, flying, ground, poison, fighting, bug, rock, ghost, dragon, and steel. I mean, if Pokemon actually does go all the way and releases an Eevee for every one of those types, that'll actually be very cool. I mean,
Oh,
imagine
man.
it, a dragon type Eevee. What would that be called?
That would be pretty. That would be pretty boss. But I mean, like, have you
A
seen some of the
something
shit they've been like the latest
I've
editions?
I have
It's
seen,
like, what the fuck is that?
I have seen some of the latest Pokemon. One of them is a goddamn sandcastle. One of them is just a fucking sandcastle.
Oh,
It's just a sand. It's just a sand. It's a sandcastle.
no. I mean, I'm like, those I could handle, I guess. But it's the ones that are just like, where, like, what the fuck? It's getting all fucking fucked up in here. Because it's like, it's not even like regular Pokemon anymore. It's like some off the wall shit that's like, oh man, like this is gonna give kids nightmares.
Let me think. Oh, you mean
What is it?
like the Porygon thing?
No, not Porygon. Let
Which
me see.
Pokemon? I mean, you know what? Oh, you know what? I think I know. I
sh-
think I know one that was extremely fucking something off the rail. Fucking one that was just a chandelier. One was a candle. They were ghost types. They were ghost and dark types, and they were some of the Pokemon that one of the Elite Four in one of the games they use a fucking chandelier and a candle. It's a candle and it's a chandelier. They're just living creatures, and they have faces. And it's like a Pokemon.
Here's a Pokemon.
Here's a Pokemon. I
You
feel
guess
like
what? We got
see,
another Pokemon.
it's like, hey, you thought we couldn't get even more creatively bankrupt? Guess what? New Pokemon is a sandcastle. It's a fucking literal sandcastle. So if you were expecting good things from us, let me tell you, we got some stuff in store for you.
And on the latest edition, our IKEA brand. Here's your chandelier. Oh, and this one's an end table. And this one
And all of it is a
is
Pokemon.
yeah.
All of them
Oh
are
man,
Pokemons.
I wouldn't be surprised if they had one Pokemon that's just like a fucking blank sheet of paper with a face on it.
This
Yeah.
is
Cool.
this is wait. We gotta give him a special name. We gotta get this is a Papermon. Yeah. He is
Papermon.
good. Please buy our next game, please. Please continue to buy our games. Just ignore the fact that we went creatively bankrupt long ago. I mean, we kinda did long ago. I mean, hey, the fucking moment that they started to introduce inanimate objects and they just slapped a face onto inanimate objects and said, hey, "Here you go. This is a Pokemon. You should just accept this as being a Pokemon." When shit like that happens, you have to beg the question: are we starting to lose our touch? I mean, Would you like a Pokemon that's literally just a goddamn sandcastle? Would you like a Pokemon that's um a fucking cup? Do you want a cup
Mhm.
Pokemon? It's Cupmon. He'll hold one whole glass full of water in him. His one and only move is Splash, and he uses it once, and then that's it.
What
If you
is it? You should have kids throwing their freaking coffee mugs around
and
and
if you
shit.
want and if you want him to like use Splash again, you're gonna have to manually go to the fucking sink, fill him up again, and then be like, "Go, Cupmon,
Oh,
use Splash,"
here we go.
and he'll be like, "Yeah," and then nothing. It's fucking stupid, dude.
Wait, where
And
you at? Where
and
you at?
see, here's the thing: a lot of people are starting to prophesize Sun and Moon are the next game expansions, or as some people are starting to say, it's whatchamacallit, it's gonna be the last one. That Pokemon Sun and Moon are the last games, and they're introducing some new legendaries with the game.
Did you see the link I posted in the Toast Talk?
Oh, did you? Let me check.
Yeah,
What is
on
this?
Discord.
Is what am I
It's
looking
a
at?
it's one of their Pokemon.
What am I looking
Like,
at
what the
here?
fuck?
What am I looking at here? What is this? This is making me uncomfortable. What is this?
Man,
What's this thing called?
I don't fucking know. I don't
It
know.
it's this is like looking at an anomaly, you know? It doesn't have a name. It's just a thing. It literally just looks like a thing. Doesn't have a
It's almost like they just got some like clay or something, just like shat it out through their butt cheeks and through their armpits and whatnot. And
You
they're
want to
like, you know
know?
what? This works. Let's use this as a reference.
You want to know something? Whatchamacallit? You want to know what they probably did? They probably sent out like a giant survey throughout the entire company, throughout all of the game devs, all of the concept artists, all of the programmers, all of the developers and everything. Like the entire Pokemon dev team company just sent everybody a quick survey that just said, "Have you had a fever dream in the last 24 hours? Yes or no?" And it was like, if no, thank you for participating in your survey. And it was like, if yes, please draw like on this next separate blank sheet of paper that is provided in this survey. Please draw us a picture of what you remember from that fever dream. And then like at least one person might have gotten sick in the company and actually had like a fever dream, and he was like, well, I just recently had a fever dream. I saw some fucked up shit, and they were like, could you please just draw that out on a piece of paper? And he did, and they just got some of the senior concept artists to do a little touching up, a little bit of finish, a little bit of contour, a little bit of contrast, a little bit of like gussying it up, making the edges nice and smooth, making the shapes, giving it like a giving it a cohesiveness, giving it some kind of like plausible format and foundation and frame. And then they just got some of the game devs to put it into like a 3D model, and then they took a screenshot of this 3D model all colored in a backdrop, and they were like, "Ladies and gentlemen,
That's it.
members of the board staff, developers on the developers team, and our executives and the people that invest in our company so we can make the game. I present to you
Flubela.
this thing. We call him Fruit Roll Up. He is our new Pokemon. Hashtag release Fruit Roll Up. Fruit Roll Up is our new Pokemon. He is um he is a type We don't know what type yet. We'll probably know soon. Maybe I personally, concept staff thinks he looks fine. Um,
Fine.
they think he looks coherent. Um, I think the kids will absolutely love this. I'm thinking because of his size and majesty. I think the word you're looking for is fucking creepy.
I don't even think they would say or make that one of the points like, oh yeah, and the kids will love it. They're probably like, everyone's already hooked into this so much, so we could just throw any shit out there and they'll love it.
No, you know what the thing is? Like, somebody probably came up with this motherfucker and was like, you know what, the kids will love it. And one of the guys that has, like, seen mistakes happen, he just turned around and said, you know what, I remember a guy, he made a Pokemon. It's called Porygon. We put that into, like, an originally rendered episode. You know what that guy said? Kids will love it, it'll be fine. Yeah, the kids did love it. All 200 of them. That got seizures from the episode.
Fuck.
Had to go to the goddamn hospital for it. Yeah, because apparently they like in the original Japanese episode that featured Porygon. Whatchamacallit, that episode. First of all, Porygon looks like a polygon. I think that was the fucking joke.
Hold
You
on.
know?
Keep talking. I'm watching from my phone. I'm going downstairs to grab something real quick.
Right.
But I'm
But
listening
like
from my phone.
like fucking Porygon, I think he was a joke. Like that was the joke of his name, you know? Porygon. That sounds like a Japanese person or a person of like Asian descent trying to say polygon, you know, because they can't pronounce their L's, so they say their L's like an R. It's like Porygon, and it sounds like polygon, because that thing literally looks like it's just a polygonal being. It's you could write out the number. You know, you could very conveniently write out the number. That thing looks like it was just like shaped out of 50 polygons max. It looks that bad. It looks like a giant prism being. Just this all this fucking shit. You know? It's fucking weird. And they make an original Japanese, because Pokemon, at least the Pokemon anime that we watched it came from Japan. It aired in Japan first, at least. And whatchamacallit, fucking, they made it into an episode, and they thought, like, let's incorporate Polygon in some form or another. There's also why Porygon was. There probably is, and I'll find it. I'll find it somewhere. But they made him into an episode, and they thought, oh well, let's see how we can turn the focus of the show towards the this Pokemon here. You know, because we thought, every episode, at least there were a lot of episodes in Pokemon. Everybody knows this. There were a lot of episodes in Pokemon in the original show that featured some episodes were just oriented around certain Pokemon, you know? Like the show was about the Pokemon, their story, their life, their struggle, the shit that they went through, the reason why they're there, or any kind of stuff that they're going through. And whatchamacallit, I remember, oh yeah, you ever watched the first season on widescreen? I never, but I will try. I'll try to somehow do that, because I don't have a widescreen. But one of my most memorable, was it a Trico? I think it was a Trico. Oh, no, not the evolutions. Yeah, it was a Trico. I think a Trico was like that one Pokemon that nobody actually wanted to pick when the fucking games came out. But Yeah, you see some episodes where they have some video overlays that don't cover the whole screen. Eh, I mean, I don't mind. I enjoyed the show as it was through and through, um, regardless. But whatchamacallit, one episode that had that theme was like, we're gonna focus on a Pokemon and their story today, and we're gonna give the Pokemon a little bit of emotional background. In the first episode, the electric shock effect is missing, probably because they it wasn't designed for the big screen. It was designed for the little screen at home with the kids watching on Saturday morning cartoons. It was made for them. It was made for those screens. But I remember such an episode in which a Pokemon was the focus of the entire show, and kind of the focus. And one such Pokemon was Trico, and he was doing something, and Ash tried to pitch in to help him, and just give the kid just give the kid that one hand. Well, kid. I don't want to say kid because it makes it seem like it's a real kid, but it's a Trico. But I mean, he wanted to help the Trico. He wanted because he thought like, the Trico's down on his day. He's either down on his luck or down in the dumps, and he seems a little sad. So I'm gonna help this Trico, and whatchamacallit, and that was the episode about, oh yeah, the Trico is actually a good starter. Trico's pretty good. I think he's a wonderful Pokemon, but that's just how it was, That was that episode. And then there was the episode where they thought, you know what, we're going to do, and this was a very old episode. This is when Pokemon was just starting out, so the Trico thing was way, 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 way after this Porygon episode. Yeah, they're not people. I know they're not people. I just, slip of the tongue. But this episode, they thought, you know what we're going to do is we're going to incorporate a Trico. We're going to incorporate a little Trico into this episode.
There's something real.
We're gonna try to get this little Trico to somehow be in the spotlight. And in this episode, they thought we're gonna get the Porygon to be somehow in the spotlight. We're gonna help him. We're gonna somehow put him as the focus of the show. And that turned out to be one of the worst ideas that the guys ever made, because that episode, like the flash effects and everything of Porygon's moves and of Porygon himself were so terrible, were so bad, that it caused 200 people. You know about the Vulcan graphics library? I will look that up. But that episode was so bad that the first 200 kids that tuned in to watch all got seizures. And I think the episode had to be plugged. It had to be pulled the same day, And a similar fuck up. A similar fuck up was whatchamacallit? A similar fuck up occurred with like the Lavender Town, the Lavender Town theme in the original Pokemon game. The two main graphic libraries are OpenGL and Direct3D, yeah, and practically almost every game renders in OpenGL or in Direct. And almost all of the top tier games, practically all of the top tier games, and the AAA titles, render with Direct, which is usually when you download a game off of Steam, when you buy something on Steam and you download it and then you install it, it has to go through like installing DirectX and its Redzit library, so you can actually play the game. And a lot of the I think indie games are rendered in OpenGL. That's definitely some sour responses with the fans. But it's like that's not a sour response. That's a threateningly awful health condition response to the episode. That some 200 kids who were like, "Ooh, new episode of Pokemon. I'm hyped, fam. I'm ready to experience the goodness. I'm ready. I'm in my most comfortable jammies. I got my blankie. I got my stuffed teddy bear. I got my favorite drink, and I got my best cereal. I am hyped. I am down. I am ready. I am strapped in for this experience." And some 200 of those kids tune in. They tuned into the episode. They were ready. They were ready to have the time of their lives. They were ready to experience a glorious episode of Pokemon. As we all did. I mean, people that decided to go back and rewatch the series on Netflix, or some people that just rewatched the series online, from the amazing plethora of video streaming websites that offer the first seasons. Vulcan was developed by the Steam and the Chronos Group, the OpenGL makers. So Vulcan is going to be something like OpenGL. You know what? If games are going to start to be rendered in Vulcan, then I hope Fraps and I hope Fraps and OBS then update all their plugins and everything, because Fraps, I make videos on YouTube. Well, I do Let's Plays, and I make all of them. I record everything with Fraps. I had to save yeah, I totally watched the first season. Yeah, of course. I had to save up. I actually had to sit down and start saving money for the fucking $20 license to get Fraps. And fucking, it's a pain. It's an actual pain, because OBS is my backup, OBS is my backup, because then I can just, I can record the window of the game, and I don't have to, fuddle with browser shit, and I can just record it. OBS is my backup for everything. Whatchamacallit, Bandicam used to be my go-to. Actually, first it was Fraps, and then I brought on Fraps, and then I again splurged and I bought Bandicam, and then Bandicam was my reserve. Bandicam was my go-to for all the games that I couldn't watch, for all the good games I couldn't record with Fraps. And then I ditched Fraps for a while, and I went on Bandicam for my everything. And then I was like, I don't really like Bandicam anymore. It's just not doing it for me. It actually hampers my system, and it stresses it even more than Fraps. So I get back onto Fraps and then OBS when I started streaming. And then I figured out OBS can actually record videos too. I've recorded some videos with Fraps. With OBS. They're not bad. I actually recorded my entire Keemstar rant on YouTube. And it's great. But now I'm on Fraps, and Fraps, it only does OpenGL or direct capture, or games that are rendered with direct. It only does those two capture methods. Everything else is non-capturable. Let's see. OpenGL has been trying to keep it so backwards compatible. So the backwards compatibility just actually held them back from actually doing what they wanted to. But no, backwards compatibility is actually a pretty good feature to have, because there are games that, exist. They're like copies of games that still exist, and the platforms that used to run those games do not exist anymore. They've been discontinued by manufacturing, and there isn't an abundant amount of them, so we don't have to worry about it. And they're not terribly easy to find, which is why I'm backwards compatibility is actually not that bad. So Steam teamed up with the Chronos Group and said, fuck the old shit, let's just do some new shit. And Vulcan is much more powerful than Direct and OpenGL. I mean, like backwards to the 90s. Yeah, dude. There are a lot of extremely good games from the 90s. And whatchamacallit, like the ROMs and the copies of the game itself, they still exist. But whatchamacallit, the platforms that they were run on, they don't exist anymore. They're just gone, you know? Which is why I value backwards compatibility, you know? Because one day games like from the PS2 one day will not exist anymore, you know? Like the last game that was ever going to be ever released for the PS2 was released like 2 years ago. Like the PS2 has been officially declared dead in terms of nobody is ever going to make a game for the PS2 ever again, you know? Because when you have big consoles, like you have bigger and better consoles right now. You have the Xbox One, you have the PS4, and now the PS4.5 is getting ready to be, you know, announced when it's going to be released. And you have the Xbox like the Scorpion, the Microsoft Scorpion, some extremely powerful console that reportedly has some of the greatest specs ever on a console. It may or may not be coming out. You know, Microsoft is very fiddly with the shit that they release. Yeah, there is. You remember the N64 thing in the front? Like Donkey Kong 64 came out with a new one and needed to run. There's also a game coming out for the Sega Dream. Somebody's actually going to make a game for a defunct console? But I know, see, here's the thing. That's weird. That's kind of weird. Why would you make games for a console from like the 90s and extremely early 2000s when you have consoles like the PS4, the Wii U, the Xbox One, you know, vastly superior consoles, like objectively superior because they have superior technology on them and are just able to run things that, like, see, it's just like a difference in technology. You know, I bet if you tweaked the ROMs from like games like like if you tweaked games for ROMs I'm dyslexic. I say my sentences so poorly. If you tweaked the ROMs or like the ROM data for games like Donkey Kong Country, Conker's Bad Fur Day, Jak 2, let's see, God of War 1, Abe's World, a lot of old PS2 and 1 titles, and a lot of good N64 Dreamcast titles. You know, like, if you tweaked them, it's shitty. Well, it looks like Minecraft. It's shitty. Yeah, well, because, like, that's all the game's art, you know? Just because it's on a bigger system, you know? It's like, you can't make the quality of you can't make the quality increase because that's like all the art that was all the material that was put into it, you know? You can't make one square Play-Doh a bigger square, like, because you then have to stretch the material very thin in order for it to be able to fit. You know, that's so you can't really force it in that sense. But like, let's see. Oh, you know the Elite controller for Xbox One? I don't care about new Xbox controllers. That's shitty to me. Yeah, Pierre Solar came out a few years ago for the Dreamcast. Well, look at Minecraft. It's shitty quality. It's a top game today. Well, like, Minecraft is pixels that are bloated. Extremely over-bloated pixels. So, of course, but, you know, Minecraft has mods that makes it look beautiful, so I love it. I like Minecraft. But you want to know something? Minecraft... Oh, look at Portal Knights. Portal Knights. Got a point there, but I'm yawning, but I'm pretty on the fence about it. But see, here's the thing. Back then, like when the games were made, when I hate that controller. Look, see, back when those games were made, back when jewel games were made, like absolute gems of games, back when they were made, like NES titles, SNES titles, the Final Fantasies, the a lot of the old titles that were extremely good. Like the developers did make good games, but I guarantee you, if you ask those developers, would you have done anything different? Would you have added anything? Would you have taken anything out? They would have been like, I wish we had more room for this. I wish we had more room for that. I wish I wish we had just a little bit more RAM, just a little bit more resolution space, just a little bit more memory, just a little bit more stronger processing power, you know? Those guys will tell you, I wish the technology was just a tiny bit better because we wanted to do more. They had extremely and like fantastic, I'm talking like ideas that were up in space, but they couldn't do them. They like the beautiful games that we see from those eras, those are just fractions. Those games are just fractions of the ideas that those people had, but they couldn't execute those ideas. Because if they just didn't have the space for it. They didn't have the technology for it. So that's the thing that when I say, why would people make games? It was never exactly what they needed, you know? Like back then, they had ideas that required like i5 processors, that required like GTX 670 graphics cards, that required like 10 gigs of RAM, you know? They needed that kind of stuff. They needed 8 gigs of RAM. They needed like 1080p resolution. They needed all of these things. Whatchamacallit, they really needed it. And unfortunately, they didn't have it. And because they didn't have the and unfortunately because whatchamacallit, they didn't have the because they didn't have the technology with them, they could never do it, you know? It just never worked out. It never could work out for them.
Okay, I'm back.
Oh, hey.
Whew. Sorry, I was taking shots downstairs.
You were taking shots?
Yeah, dude.
Oh, good for you. I put an effect on my donations thing, just in case. Just in case anybody fucking feels like doing it.
What?
No. Just in case anybody feels generous, I put effects on
Ooh,
my
nice.
yeah, I put effects on my whatchamacallit. But anyways.
Whew. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I mean with the whole game dev thing, it's like the hardware is, I mean, it already has more than enough to do all these wonderful things that you could imagine, right?
Yeah, of course.
It's the people that develop those games that, and also like what else there is in that environment that they're running on. Like with Windows, you have Windows operating system and a bunch of other bullshit going on, right?
Of course, but like, you know,
Whew.
that's the thing. People always wanted to go bigger and better.
Well, actually, what is it? A buddy of mine, actually from Norway, who moved down here. He had a video game studio over in Norway, and they were a AAA company. And then he switched over to oil and gas because there was more money.
Oh, wow.
And anyway, but he, like, the games that he made back in the 90s, I mean, they were like overly
Over the
powerful
top.
for,
He
Yeah,
went
there you
over.
go.
It's
I
like
mean, it
John
was like,
Romero. It's like John Romero before he made Daikatana, before he blessed the world with that awful god awful mess.
what is it called? It's like
Because
race.
he made Doom. Alright? He made Doom. And everybody was like, God damn, these are some good video games. You are a good video game maker. That's amazing. Could you make more of this? And he was like, and he just like fucking swished his luscious gourmet hair, and he was like, I'm John Romero. I will make another incredible video game.
Shit.
You
Damn,
will
I can't
enjoy it."
remember the fucking name.
And people's pants just dropped. Like, he said he's gonna make another one, and it was great, right? And we loved it, and we thought
Oh,
this was
yeah.
and
He
we
started
thought this
that
was the
Kickstarter,
coolest
right?
shit. Yeah, we thought it was the coolest
Oh,
shit.
yeah.
It was awesome. We loved it.
Oh no, dude! I was like, oh, please don't, please don't. I know this is gonna turn out terrible.
But people wanted it, and it turned out lovely. Everybody loved it, and okay, we like it. And well, I mean, Doom turned out lovely, and people were like, "You want to make another one? Okay, go ahead, make another one."
Oh
you
no,
know?
that.
And then he
I'm
makes another
so
one.
pissed.
He
Wait,
he
I
made
think I was
that-
talking about the wrong game.
He made Daikatana.
No, Doom 3.
Super good.
Or no, Quake. Wait, what? Hold on.
Quake
No, it was
2.
Doom.
It was Quake 2 and Doom 4, or as they call
Or-
it,
It
Doom
was Doom 4?
Dark Hallways 1 Flashlight.
Oh my god.
No,
dude,
I
I'm
know
still-
which one you're talking. There was that one
the
awful,
latest
awful.
one.
Oh, that's just Doom.
Yeah, that one.
The
That one's
ve-
just fucking. Oh.
I
So
like
you
it.
get
I
into the
actually like
game.
the new one. You know.
No. What pissed me off is you get into the game, and it's like super badass fucking intro, and you're all fucking hyped up. You got your dick out, you're about to jerk off. Right? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, that's how usually the average.
Anyways,
That's how the average person plays Doom. They just jack off. Yeah.
yeah. No, but so you get this badass intro, then it gets to this part or the starting point where you control your character and pick up your first weapon, right? And then you fire it for the first time, and it's a fucking like pew pew pew. You're like, the fuck? That's not hardcore at all.
It's Flo. Yay. Hey, Flo.
And it's like I don't understand. Like we just went like hardcore, and I was all hardcore, and now it's like pew 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 pew.
Now, see what I personally don't like about the game. I mean, first of all, concept and story is amazing because this game is bringing us back to what video games were supposed to be. You know, video games
Yeah.
are supposed to be fun, and they were like, well, let's look at some games that did fun correctly. Painkiller,
Oh.
Doom, Quake, original
Actually-
Unreal Tournament, original Warhammer, original Serious Sam. Well, what's fun about them? Because you just get to do what you want. You get put into an amazing level with an amazing story, and you get all these weapons, and they're just like, yo, you know what to do, and you barrel through it. But you never get the feeling that like you were an overpowered person, you know? You never experience the
What's up,
fe-
Mr. Flo? Sorry.
Hey, Flo. It's like in Doom, like no matter how many weapons, health packs, and armor upgrades it throws at you, you will never ever feel like you are invincible, like you are a god, you know? Like you have to barrel in there and like mow down several giant blazing demons, and there could be one tiny little gimp of a gimpy imp of a gimp could be there looking at you, and he could have just been like standing there, you know, all jittery, waiting to strike, and then he just watches you slaughter like so many masters of hell, and then he still goes after you, you know. Like, you have to do some serious slaying to prove that you are badass, but you have the ability. You can kill all these people, but you can still be killed. And it's amazing. It's like Shadow of Mordor, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can be like the most badass orc fucking grinder in the business, but if enough orcs come up to you, they can overpower you. And if enough
yeah.
orcs come up to you, it depends on you. Can you be badass enough to get out of this? You know, it's a real true testament of the story, the characters, the plot, the setting, everything around here is meant to see. Are you badass enough? And
Are
you can,
you?
and it's set so that you can. It's made so that you will be able to prove that you are badass.
Oh god, that reminds me of Dark Souls. Fucking
Now,
hate that
see,
game.
Dark Souls is like you're gonna be put into a situation where everything is against you forever.
Oh yeah,
Get
it
through,
doesn't ever get easier.
but like Dark Souls is like it's clearly like from Japanese culture, you know, because Japanese culture is built on like give me a challenge, give me something that's so incredibly hard and nobody could even possibly think about beating, defeating, or solving it, and I want to sit down and I want to defeat it because like they derive joy. Like Japanese people, South Korean people, this isn't like this might be a stereotype. This might sound stereotypish, but this is a very positive compliment. This is something that I revere. This is something that I revere as a very, very amazing and cool trait. They see like amazingly giant obstacles and challenges as just that. Ooh, this is a challenge to prove how cool I am. You know, this is something that I can take and like I can improve myself, I can get better, and also I can defeat something challenging by myself and feel the satisfaction of doing something that nobody else would do with my own hands, you know? It's confidence boosting, it's morality raising, it's intelligence building, and it's discipline founding. It's amazing. That's such a cool trait, you know? But like the rest of the world isn't as cool. Like a lot of us are pokey little flab biscuits that like don't want to get up to grab the remote off the table cuz it's too far away. Like a lot of us like have to, you know, like I for instance often ask my fiance to get me a ginger ale because when I sit down and I'm doing something, it's like if I get up and I sit back down, all of my motivation and all of like the idea that I am working on right now will be lost. But I'm really thirsty and I really need a ginger ale. So I just asked my fiance, like, baby, could you grab me a ginger ale? And she always makes fun of me about it. She's like, oh no, poor baby, you can't get up and grab a ginger ale? I'm like, I'm working on something. It's gonna ruin my concentration. And she's like, oh no, poor baby is gonna ruin his concentration. Oh no. Sit right there. I'm gonna get you that ginger ale. And I'm like,
Sit right there.
it's
Let me
like,
get you that
I'm not
ginger
gonna
ale.
enjoy this ginger ale now because you said that.
Way to ruin the experience.
She's like, I'm not gonna enjoy that ginger ale now because like you said a bunch of things that made me feel sad. And she's like, oh no, words hurt your poor delicate bebe feelings. Here, I'm gonna go get a blankie with this ginger ale so you can enjoy it. And I'm like, thank you. I wanted my blankie with my ginger ale.
Yeah, the thing about Dark Souls that just irritated me was just the fucking annoyingness. And I'm too impatient for video games that just like try to fuck with you all the goddamn time, and it's like nope, 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 and it's like fuck you, dude. If I wanted to be in a fucking communist Russia, I would be. That might be a little off.
Probably, but I mean,
But yeah, it's like if I wanted to be in a freaking dictatorship or something like that, you know what? Yeah, sure, why not? But it's like I don't want to play games where it's like, you know, just fuck everything. Like, yeah, I like a challenging game, but I don't want a fucking game where it's like, you know what? We're gonna drive you fucking insane.
like I would play Dark Souls. Actually, I wouldn't play the original Dark Souls because I don't know. I should though. I should. I've only played and beaten Demon Souls. That is all I've ever like. That is my great accomplishment. Here are my life's accomplishments. Things that I'm proud of. Things that I'll fucking put on my grave. Before he died, he beat Demon Souls. I'm gonna put that
Oh,
shit.
God.
Because I'm
Then
proud of it.
Then how like players could leave messages around the whole game.
Oh yeah, I have
Where it's
no
like,
idea
yeah,
at what point that was
read this
introduced.
hint. Read this hint or something. Like at the beginning of the game, I was like, "What the fuck? Like, did the developers actually like leave notes with this shit on it?" And I figured out
Oh, these are players.
shortly after that it was actually other players doing that. And
And
I was
then
like,
shortly after that, I figured out that a lot of players are assholes because there were some points where I come up to like the end of a fucking bridge, and at the
Oh, yeah.
over the edge of the bridge is like whatchamacallit, it's like at the over the edge of the bridge, and this is like before I knew about the game. It's like I slowly started to figure out that this shit was about like I was like, hello Coolum, the Coolum. Hi, welcome to Toast Talk. It's like in the
Yo.
beginning I didn't know how the game went, you know? Demon Souls and Dark Souls were games that I went into without like I actively shielded myself from every form of spoiler. I didn't go online, I didn't talk to friends, I just waited for them to come out and then I played them. And then I slowly started to realize, oh, these messages are by players. Okay. And then I get to like the end of a fucking bridge, like this big ass, and like looking back at it now, I looked over the edge. It was clearly a pitfall. It was clearly like an instant pitfall where I'm just gonna die and lose all of my souls. And there was a message that was just like, walk across, a cutscene will initiate. See, this was before I realized that people in Dark Souls are assholes. I was just like, dude, just walk across the edge. It will initiate a cutscene. And I was like, initiate a cutscene? Well, and it was like, I was so oblivious to the fact that this was pure trolling that I, in my brain, thought, oh, right, well, I mean, I got all the way to this bridge, and like this bridge seems to like like for some reason my brain just linearized the entire game progress that I had made to that point, and I was like, I'm probably supposed, this looks like I'm supposed to go this way, so I mean, yeah, I'll go. But like the only reason I was hesitant to do it, and like here's what I look back at and I cringe at, you know?
mm-hmm.
The only reason I walked over and I died, and then I figured out how stupid I am. But like at first I was a little hesitant to go over the edge and to initiate the cutscene because I thought that like a cutscene would actually trigger. The only reason I was kind of hesitant to go over the edge immediately because I thought, wait, is this like a no return point? Like if I go through here, will that mean I won't be able to go back and explore the previous area? Because I love to explore in games, you know? When I bought The Last of Us and when I bought Conker's Bad Fur Day, I did nothing but explore in those games. I did nothing but just explore. And exploring is something I like to do. But I don't like to like there are games where like, you know, they're kind of semi-linear. The option for exploration is there, but there are some points where like you pass this point of the game and it's like, it's cut off. You have to keep going forward.
Like what?
And you have to keep going into
shit.
Yeah, and you have to keep going into a new area of the game. And it's like, but I want to go back and explore more things. But the game's like, I'm not gonna let you go back and explore more things. You gotta keep going. It's a fucking semi-linear story. And then I'm like, ugh, fine. Ugh, ah. And I didn't know if it was the case with Souls because I hid myself from every possible fucking connection to the game, so I purposely would not know. And so then, and this is what I'm stupid, is like, I was like, the only reason I didn't fucking jump off like a retard was because I thought that I wouldn't be able to come back and explore. I was that oblivious to how stupid of a decision I was about to make. But then I was like, you know what, I'll do like a last bit of looking. I'll just do like a quick bit of looking. I don't really want to look. It's like, nothing, just some enemies, nothing. And then of course I jump over the edge. It's an instant pitfall. My character ragdollizes and disappears into a black nothing. And then I realized that people online are mean.
Yeah, you know, you can't believe everything you read on the internet.
Like I
even if it's in a video game.
like I remember it was like the 2000s, like 2010. No, it wasn't even the 2000. It was like 2008, 2009. And I was online and a new Dragon Ball movie coming out. Live action Dragon Ball movie?
Oh yeah, did you see that?
Woo! I saw it is a fucking piece of garbage.
Yep.
It is awful. It is
It
terrible.
was just
It,
terrible. Terrible.
it was shite. It was shite, as Finn would say. It was absolute shite.
Oh god. At least it wasn't like a Korean drama or a TV drama.
Oh
Or
man,
what do they call it? Soap operas, whatever.
let's fucking turn Dragon Ball Z into a fucking Korean housewife soap opera. That'll fucking get everybody all running to watch it. It was so. Oh. But back
Oh,
to the
dude,
topic
no.
at hand. God
Have
damn
you
it.
ever seen one of those things?
It was shite. It was absolutely. Here, I'm a type.
No, no. Have you ever watched like a Korean TV soap opera?
I've watched those. They are funny as fuck because
They're
God,
fucking random as shit.
it's like somebody comes back home. It's just like I'm home. All these
Look,
camera pans, all these zoom ins and zoom outs and close ups and camera pans, and it's like ba-bum,
What is it?
and it's like what the fuck did they do that's this dramatic? They just came back in.
Like you know that you remember that episode of South Park where Cartman's trying to shut down Family Guy or something?
Right.
'Cause he
He's trying to
fucking
shut
hates
down
him?
Family Guy, so he's
then-
going. He goes to
Yeah,
Family Guy
then he gets
headquarters
to
to
the
tell them
writers,
to stop.
And they're dolphins or something, or or whatever the fuck you call them, some sort of
Yeah,
mammal.
they were bottlenose dolphins.
Bottle. Yeah,
Hail travelers!
and it's like
hey Finn!
they get random balls and they put them together.
That was
and
a
that's
little
the
bit of
story.
that was poking. That was just legitimate. We're gonna poke fun at fucking Family Guy's comedy because
That's pretty much like a Korean soap opera, though. That's exactly.
What, do they just get a bunch of
feel like
bottlenose
the
dolphins to
name.
shove a bunch of like fucking okay, so put a bunch of ideas together. Wife gets run over by a bullet shot from her evil stepsister, shoots her with a car. And
Oh, dude. I think I remember one when I was over in Thailand. I watched one, and it was like these high school kids were racing with their fucking desk chairs and shit like that, and they turned into like
Excuse me?
go-karts. And then like they had like an old sensei that was actually a woman, and then it turned out to be someone's brother,
excuse
and then like his friend fell in love with the grandma or something. I don't know. It was weird.
Death by being run over by a bullet, otherwise known as being shot. No, you're not being shot, you're being run over by a bullet. A tiny little brass piece of metal just runs you over. You get fucked. Quickly. But whatchamacallit? The sensei, she's a woman. No, she's the brother. But she's also the teacher of these two dudes. They like to race each other with their desks. And the evil stepsister, she shot them with a car through a tank. She's actually their mom. Plot twist. It's that kind of shit.
Plot twist. Plot twist every 1 minute.
She's actually their mom. No, she's their uncle. She's actually the president of Nintendo. No, he's gonna shoot him because he has the cure for his little nephew's uncurable disease. It's leukemic cancer syphilitis.
And the moral of the story, don't do drugs.
Moral of the story, it was the grandma all along. She was the school teacher and also the hidden evil twin brother who shoots the older sister with a tank.
Yeah, maybe
In
you
a
should start writing
dream!
some Korean soap operas. You're pretty good at this.
It makes me laugh. Shitty old woman who betrays the little niece who's actually the teacher at school, who turns out to have a lot of gold hidden inside her stomach that has a bomb in it. and then she shoots her with a tank in a dream.
Dun dun dun.
And then the fucking house cat wakes up from all of that, and then like that's the fucking season finale of like a Korean soap drama.
And it's
like
the
like
first
the fucking
episode.
like the fucking like the domestic house, like the house cat of like a family just wakes up and goes like, that was some fucking weird shit that I just had to think about.
Oh, what is that one fucking movie? It was like, damn it. Okay, so, it's this like mentally challenged Asian girl who watches a lot of like Jet Li movies and whatnot, and she turns out to be like a super badass, like freaking Jet Li, and she's like, she goes into badass mode, then she goes back into like dare mode. And she's trying to, yeah, it's like her mom has cancer and she's trying to get money for her mom's cancer.
But then it turns out she is her mom. And it turns out her mom didn't have cancer. She actually has space AIDS. And her mom isn't really her mom, it's actually her grandpa. And then she shoots her.
She's actually not Asian.
And then she shoots her with the space AIDS. It turns out she's not Asian, and then the house cat wakes up again. This should be a show. This should be just like a fucking freaky ass reality TV show, in which like it's all a cat's fever dream.
It'd be
I'm gonna write
so
that down.
hard to
That's
act
gonna be.
for.
That's
I'd
gonna
be
be
like, what the fuck? I don't even understand this.
That's gonna be a new.
Where am I supposed to go with this?
That's gonna be a new pure mood. I swear to God. I'm actually gonna write that down. I'm gonna film that new pure mood TV episode. It's gonna be called Korean, super Korean soap opera drama show.
Super Korea.
It's actually gonna be very good. I'm gonna film it normally, but it turns out that the brother is actually the dad, and he got run over by a bullet a long time ago.
Oh, but the brother has to be the younger brother.
Yeah, but he also got diagnosed with like clown syphilis. And so now the mother, who actually turns out to be an evil stepsister of the aunt, who is also the younger niece and grandma, is out to kill the nephew, but she has to travel back in time to kill him before he was born, to prevent him from shooting her dad in a dream.
Oh yeah.
And then the cat wakes up.
And then a sumo wrestler farts and she wakes up.
That should like be the tie-in to all this bullshit. And then the cat wakes up. That's a perfect tie-in to all of our bullshit. And then the cat wakes up.
And then the cat goes Super Saiyan right after.
You wanna know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of when I was doing the anime reviews and Finn sent me a list of the quotes I made. What a world we live in where the world is gonna end and everyone is jacking off.
Someone's hosting.
Shit.
Nice.
Oh, thanks, Army Man. Hosted by Army Man. Bronze front leader Army Man. Oh man. And after he's hosting, give us just 2 seconds. I gotta go take a bathroom break, and I gotta go grab some water. 2 seconds. Be right back.
Yeah, I'll be watching from my phone because I'm gonna smoke.
All right. Oh, yeah. All right.
I'll be in the chat.
You're one of those pure smoker, right?
Sure. You gotta smoke a pole. No.
Right back.
What the fuck? I'll be right back. Refill your drink. Drink refilling in distance. Do. Okay, I'll be right back.
And we return. And what would our stream be without a complimentary bagel? And now we get back into the swing of things. Hopefully Songnasu is... Oh, he's just watching on chat. And finish eating. Yeah, that is a, Now that you mention it, this is a great idea for the perfect soap opera. For the perfect, whatchamacallit, kind of Koreanish. Well, kind of Koreanish, but the perfect soap opera. Thank you. It's a wonderful idea. I'll actually write this down, and I'll put this as a new Pure Mood video. Enjoy the bagel, if anybody actually has one. So goddamn delicious. And sorry, after this little break, we're going to be starting to get to finishing up right here. I know, military man just hosted me, but it's okay. Toes will be streaming. I think he'll be streaming tonight anyhow, so I'll get to hosting him. And whoever's streaming at the moment, I'll host them. In the meantime, this has been great. We have delved into some fascinating topics. Okay, so I was thinking about assholes. Great topic that you brought yourself to. People who are jerks. You want to know who's a jerk? You want to know who's a very real jerk? What's the guy's name? The from whatchamacallit, from Hello Games. The dude that was I don't know if he was a developer or whatever, but he was mainly on all the interviews. He was the guy showing off that guy, you know, the from No Man's Sky, their developer or whatever, Soggy. You want to so just for the sake of just because I currently cannot for the life of me remember what his name is, I'm just gonna call him Soggy. You want to know who is an asshole? Soggy is an asshole. A dude that talked up all of these wonderful things, all of these magical oddities about No Man's Sky. Oh, it's gonna be great. It's gonna be wonderful. It's gonna have this and this shit. It's gonna have the guy from Destiny Doob or something. I don't know, but because Toes came up with the name, I'm just gonna call. That's what I'm gonna call the dude. I'm gonna call him Soggy. He talked up a storm about how incredibly amazing No Man's Sky was going to be, and how we have all these features that are just so good and that you need to go out and buy the game quickly. You know? He was at all the he was on all the interviews. Sognatsu equals Soggy. Nah. Okay. I'm just gonna call him Douchebag Dev. Okay, Soggy, that's you, Sognatsu. But Douchebag Dev talks up a storm about how No Man's Sky is gonna be the paragon of fucking video gaming, the absolute epitome, the monolith that will shine on the fucking plateau of disparity and creative bankruptcy. And it will gleam and shimmer and glow, and lo, hail to these dirty peasants who think that they know what good games are. It will shine unto them like a bright light of video game salvation and revolution and innovation, and it will say, "Behold, I am No Man's Sky. I am an overly bloated video game that has all these cool features that you should love and want. And I will bring forth multiplayer on an incredible level. I will have, hold up, I'm thinking of ideas to sell. Random procedural generation. We will not host our game on online servers. Oh wait, that will limit our multiplayer capacity. Anyways, the gold game will use mathematical formulas, so everything will be infinitely procedurally generated. Everything looks the same. Everything is beautiful and glimmering and fabulous. And you can go to the center of the universe. And when you get to the center of the galaxy, no, it is, you're trying to get to the center of the universe, and when you get to the center of the universe, you're like, okay, I looked at this galaxy, and then you can name the galaxy, and then you can go through like a little bit of a void of space, and you can look for a new galaxy. You find a new galaxy, and then, I mean, you found a new galaxy, and you can just mine. What can you do on the planet? You can explore. You can investigate. You can categorize and you can scan animals, new interesting animals and plants, and you can index them in a little database, and you will gain credits for doing so. How is this? For every new animal you index on a planet, you will gain 200 credits for every animal. And the animals are procedurally generated infinitely. They come in all shapes and sizes and combinations. And they are on every planet. Every planet has animals and organic life on it, and plants and materials. And you can index every one of them in your little space gun, and it will give you credits, 200 credits for every animal that has been indexed. What's that? Everything is too expensive? The ships are extremely expensive. Okay. Everything is really expensive. Upgrades are actually awfully expensive. You have to grind in that game for some time to get fucking anything. I'm telling you. Another bad move was Evolve. Yeah, but like, see, here's the thing. Evolve realized their mistakes and they went free on Steam. Evolve is now free on Steam and practically everybody plays it. And Evolve changed nothing. They changed nothing about the game, you know? It's still the same game as it was when it was paid, except they just made it free. And they just took like the fucking League of Legends approach. We'll just do cosmetic things and we'll charge microtransactions for that. A lot of people play Evolve and they love it now because it's free. Because it's a nice functioning game that you can play for free. At least I think it is. That's what I last heard of it. All that I just said was hypothetical because that's what I heard. I've read up that it's free and that it just has like cosmetics now, added cosmetics that cost microtransactions in. The couple of new Dragon Ball Z games are Dragon Ball Online, Dragon Ball Online. It's not terribly bad, in my opinion. Not awful, but not the best thing on the block. Definitely, not the best thing on the block. It could very much use some spit-shan polish, but Final Fantasy went down. No, Final Fantasy committed suicide with all the new game. And now Konami, Konami has officially decided that they want to, oh, you know the game called Star Citizen? Yeah, I know a game called Star Citizen. Wish I didn't. But, Konami has just gone down the fucking shitter. Konami's gone. Konami's gone. They do not exist anymore. You know? Because they hated Kojima so much because he made games that they didn't feel like making, and those games were extremely the games that Kojima has come out with are extremely good. You know, all of the Metal Gear Solids, Metal Gear Revengeance is meh. You know, I don't, I don't really, I don't really care about it because I feel like MGR, Metal Gear Revengeance, is its own beast. You know, Metal Gear Revengeance is its own game. It's just set in the Metal Gear universe. But I don't really count it as a Metal Gear game. But, you know, I kind of also do. But it was like, Kojima came out with all of these fantastic and spectacular games. And it was wonderful, right? It's amazing. It's awesome. And Konami hates it because, like, these aren't the kind of games that they would go for, you know? These aren't the kind of games that they would make. They would make something else, you know? And it was like, I don't want to make them. But see, Kojima, like, when he has a project idea, he doesn't want to step down from it. He doesn't want to stop doing it. He wants it to keep going. When he has a project idea, he'll push at it until it's done, you know? That is why all of the Metal Gears have been as successful as they were. And that's why every time he says, this is probably the last Metal Gear I'm gonna make. When he made the first one, this is the last one. When he made the second one, this is the last one. Third one, this is the last one. Fourth one, this is the last one. Snake Eater, this is the last one. Peace Walker, this is the last one. Sons of the Sons of Liberty, this is the last one. The Guns of the Patriots, this is the last one. And then Metal Gear Solid 4, you know, the one where he's like super old. I swear to God, this is the last one. The Metal Gear Solid, some of them on the Famicom, which are Famicom exclusives. And then, you know, Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain. This is the last one, I swear. And, like, he was really trying, he was like, I swear to God, you guys, Phantom Pain is the last one. And Konami fucking hated the fact that he made so many games that were really good and that everybody loved it. But, you know, it's like, here are some of the games that Konami made. And it's like, yeah, they're okay, Konami. They're just, you know, I'd rather do Kojima's. Oh, Porotype. Is it Porotype or Prototype? The first Prototype was good. I didn't really enjoy the second. I didn't enjoy Prototype 2. Prototype 1, I liked it, you know? It, like, the game does, like, the fucking story and the concept ideas and everything were pretty original and cool. I liked it. Its execution could have been better. Could the game's story, like, the overall story, not just, like, the plot and the concepts, like, the whole, like, with the blacklight virus and that it can turn people into a weapon and, like, Alex Mercer's thing, I liked that, but like the story of Alex Mercer, the story of Armatech, the story of how Blackwatch and of how the military got involved in it, all that could have been done a little better because it was all kind of strung forth kind of suckishly. But I loved the story idea. I loved Alex Mercer's character. I loved the black light, and it was okay. See. Number 1, I loved it. It was great. Number 2 was, it's okay, but I mean, if I was in a room and I had to choose between which ones I had to play, it's like if I was in a room and it was like, if I was like in a room and I had like 5 hours to kill and they were like, well, do you want to play Prototype 1 or Prototype 2? I would personally play Prototype 1. Last of Us, amazing game. Trust me, it's an amazing game. But back to the topic at hand. It's like Konami hates the fact. They really hate that because Kojima pushes these games, Konami, they don't want to make it, you know? And then finally, Kojima's like, you know what? You canceled like 2 of my games. He was going to make Silent Hills, and then Konami was like, nah, we don't want to make it. And trust me, Kojima worked hard on it. And then it was like that game with Norman Reedus. And it was like, we're gonna cancel that too. We don't really want you to make that. Right now, there's like a game that's kind of similar to let's just call it kind of similar to Silent Hills, that new Silent Hills that was supposed to be released, PT. That it's like it has to do with this girl named Jennifer, and it was called like something spirits, like just like Spirit's Journey or whatever. Not gonna lie, when I looked at some screenshots and some gameplay of it, I literally thought that this was just like a continual of PT. You know, they just took PT and they just built on it and made a game out of that. It's how like similar it looks to me. And then like the Norman Reedus game was also supposed to be similar to that. And then the only game currently in the survival horror genre in like the new gen to 2016 coming on to 2017, new gen horror, survival horror at least, a new gen, is it's all literally just it's like slightly tweaked carbon copies of PT. BioShock 7, Biohazard 7, or, Resident Evil 7, or they call it Biohazard. I was wondering, why are all the games in Steam, why are all the Resident Evil games in Steam called Biohazard? Like Resident Evil / Biohazard 6, Resident Evil / Biohazard 5, 4. And I was wondering, why are they all called Biohazard? And then I learned in Japan, the game is actually called Resident Evil is called Biohazard. And Biohazard 7, or Resident Evil 7, is supposed to be like a survival horror now. It's supposed to be a survival horror game. In Japan, it was Biohazard, yeah. And America's, it's RE, yeah. And the new, the new one, Biohazard 7, it's a survival horror. It looks like PT, just a different setting. Just literally a different setting, but it looks like PT. I swear to God, it's abysmal. It's abysmal, the fact that fucking, it's like, is this what the new gen of survival horror is? Just a whole bunch of carbon copies of what PT was supposed to be? I mean, oh well. And Biohazard 7 was the only one that survived the great canceling of Konami. And now finally Kojima leaves. He's like, you know what? I don't want to put up with this company anymore. I bring them great ideas, and I think these are really good ideas that we should act on, and that we should really make these games because people clearly love them. People clearly love them. But the fact of the matter is, Konami doesn't like these games, and they hate these games because so many people love them, Konami has like the artist's affliction, because an artist believes they know what true art is, and they believe that anybody who's not an artist, their opinion on art is just like moot. It's stupid, and you shouldn't even listen to it. It's like, how can you listen to a Golden Turd, Destiny? Yeah, I never understood the appeal to that game, nor could I get into it. And they're like, they resent Silent Hills, they resent the Norman Reedus game, and they especially resent all of the Metal Gear Solids because they are not games that Konami would make, and people love them and revere them as one of the greatest video games that have ever been made. And that's why Konami deeply hates them, because they think I think truly in Konami's heart, I think that they believe that Metal Gear, the Silent Hills PT, the Norman Reedus game, I think they believe them that they're subpar, They're okay games, they're kind of, but they're not, they're not something that they would make and publish. Well, I mean, not all of the Metal Gears have so far been published, with Konami, but like Silent Hills, and, they probably don't hate Metal Gear that much, and they decided to publish them, but like, the thing is, Silent Hills is not a game they would make. the Norman Reedus Hill games is not a game that they would make. The Phantom Pain is something that could have not have been made without Kojima. And so, they were hoping that when he leaves the team, like, because Konami has probably been wanting to fire Kojima for a very long time, And, like, this is the thing. They just totally make you work hard for something, and then they say, fuck your hard work. Yeah, basically. And they say, fuck your hard work because we don't like it, This isn't something that we would make, thusly, we have to cancel it. And it's like, they hate Kojima, and they probably wanted to fire him for a long time, but they were like, we can't yet. Well, it's like, it's just not the right opportunity. And they finally got the right opportunity, and he left, and he left and abandoned Konami. And you know what the thing is? I bet you Konami was praying. I bet they were praying, like, please let Kojima just, like, fade into obscurity. Like, let him just become a forgotten indie developer, A guy, like, I'm guaranteeing you, this is something that they probably wanted. This is something that they were praying for. They were praying for the chance that Kojima would just become, they were praying for this, this instance would happen. He would leave Konami, he would become an indie developer, he would try to make a game, and then, and then he would, and then, like, the game would tank, and his popularity would tank, and then he would fade off into obscurity, and he would never be mentioned again, Konami wanted that, because that would mean that, okay, we don't have to worry about Kojima coming out with any blockbusters. Now we can make our games, and people will buy them instead, But instead, the exact opposite happened. Kojima left, and he became a rock star. He became a fucking rockstar game dev, and everybody adores his games, and everybody, like, can hardly wait for the shit that, like, if Kojima announced a game right now, people would flip their shit, and they would love it. Because it's Kojima. Because he's gonna make a very good game.
Sony.
Because Kojima makes good games, alright? It's in his blood. He's a game dev. This is something that he spent, it's a passion, and it's his hobby. This is something that he knows how to do. This is something that he has been doing since the 90s. Konami, whatever fucking kind of staff or talent they have, they just can't match up to him. And they hate that. And so fucking Metal Gear Survival was their fucking pitch at, look guys, we can make a cool game too. Look. They're tanked. Konami's tanked.
No, what I was saying about Destiny is, like, I played Destiny, like, hardcore. I'd play for, like, all day and all night and do, like, 2-day, 3-day binges.
I really
it was
like that game. Just, I don't get the appeal in it. It's like we took all the grinding, the grinding and the time consuming and the hassle of normal, like, grinding, we took all the things that made World of Warcraft tedious, and we put it into a Halo clone. And the only thing we did to spruce up this Halo clone is that we just added more World of Warcraft elements, Look at all these cool guns with cool stats. Look at all this cool armor with cool stats. Look at all these cool weapons and equipment with cool stats that you have to go on raids and dungeons in to accomplish. And fucking, like, you don't realize RPG, like fantasy RPG MMO elements do not blend into an FPS, especially an FPS that is literally, like, it is trying very hard to hide the fact that it is a carbon copy of Halo, and it is failing. Destiny tries to show people how much it's not Halo, but it's Halo, dude. It's Halo. It's just a Halo with a whole bunch of DLCs and a whole bunch of, like, game elements and game mechanics that don't fit jammed into it, Know what I'm saying?
But, I mean, like, with Destiny, it's like whenever you first go through the game, it's like, okay, yeah, this is really awesome and whatnot. And then you got like hidden shit to go find and whatnot, which is like, okay, cool. So I'm going back to the same areas that are not very big at all, and it takes like fucking forever to drop in, anyways. And
I,
you're like,
I mean,
fuck.
whatchamacallit,
Okay, so it's very repetitive, and you have to like you reset the what do you call it? The raids or whatever.
yeah,
The
like
boss
in World of
battles
Warcraft.
every week, and it's like, okay, if I'm getting some good shit, which is it was all random as fuck, and on top of that, it would you can't trade, so it's like, okay, I can't trade I I can kind of work with that. That's cool, but it's like, okay, if somebody's getting like fucking 25 Galahorns, and there's somebody in like within the first month of them playing, and then someone that's been playing for over a year hasn't even gotten one, and with like the looking for team thing, like going to one of those websites or Team Finder or something, and it's like, okay, everybody's saying you have to have a Gjallarhorn in order to play. It's like, well, what the fuck, dude? So,
Like, I'm
I've been playing.
trying, man. Yeah, it becomes exclusive. It becomes separatist. Oh my. Oh hey, I'm back talking about Destiny and Halo. Yeah, but see, it's that kind of shit. And like the same problem was in World of Warcraft, you know, because when whatchamacallit, when plugins that could show your gear. Do you know what gear score is?
Actually, I played World of Warcraft for like 2 days, and I was like, fuck this shit.
Well, basically, you know how in your like in your inventory menu, you see your person, you see all the slots that you can put stuff on yourself, and like basically that's all your gear, you know, shit that you can
Yeah.
equip onto your like character is your gear, and
Uh-huh.
basically
Well, yeah,
a plugin
I get
came out which I immediately downloaded because oh why not?
it had like a hot swap gear thing,
No. See, like
or like just
it
a,
would
like,
show you a number. For instance, this item, this weapon has a gear score of 500.
oh,
Basically,
so basically like a
the bigger the
value rating.
yeah, basically the bigger the number, the higher value and like the better stats were on this weapon. And basically,
Yeah.
like now all of a sudden, all the gear that you grinded to equip, to find, to get, to have can be into a quantifiable number, and you didn't, like before, if you wanted to see how cool somebody was, you had to sit down next to them, you had to inspect them, and then you had to go through their gear, and like they would tell you, oh, I got that like this, oh, I got that like this, ooh, I traded a very rare mount for this, and I just had all these like little niceness, like these things that just made socializing with other players nicer, because like you check out each other's gear and you comment on it, and like you get to know people, you get to know what they've done, where they've been in the world of Warcraft. You get to ask them and they get to tell you tales about where they went and what they did to get the armor they have or to get the weapons they
Sit down,
have.
children. Let me tell you the tale about my leggings.
It's like, let me tell you, like, the cool story about how I did a fucking 25-man instance in the New Rob village, and I beat fucking I beat, not Volt,
Beat
I
fucking
almost said, I
Voldemort.
bit Vol'jin. It's like, I went to Naxxramas, and I beat all those giant fucking bugs and the void monsters and the void god, that's like the boss at the end of the raid, and I did all this cool shit at adventuring just to get these like 2 gauntlets, and they're sanctified, and if I get more sanctified items, I'll have like a full sanctified set. And it's like, wow, that's really cool. And now the items have a significance, you know? Now the items, they have an importance to them. Now they have a backstory. I know where these items
not
come
just like
from.
in-game value, but like personal value.
Now they have like sentimentalness.
Yeah, there you go.
I know where these items came from. I know like the fucking struggle that this player had to go through to get these items. But then comes gear score. And it's like you can just click on somebody and all like immediately like a little number in the bottom right corner of where their person is, or like where their character is displayed, it just shows a number, and it basically, like, the plugin sees all the items and gear that they have, and it takes all their stats and it calculates it together and it puts it into one grand number. Let's see, like, how valuable are you gear wise? And people use that to judge how good a player is, you know?
Oh,
If he
man.
has extremely good gear and all the gear is matching and it makes sense, like for the character and the class and the disciplines and talents you have, and they'll be like, oh, so you're a good player, you know? And
Um,
it became like a separatist, like a exclusive and an elitist kind of thing, you know? Only people with the good, really good gear are good players because you have to grind for days on end to get good gear. You have to go to like raids. You have to like queue up with like a bunch of people for raids at nighttime, and you have to be ready. You have to be dedicated to sit down and raid a dungeon for like a couple of hours at a time at night till it's done, and you have to be dedicated as fuck to these people, and there will be like people, raid leaders, yelling at you to do things correctly. It became so elitist and exclusive and separatist, you know? Before, you looked at a person, you looked at all their gear, and it's like, cool, cool, you have some gear. Oh, this is nice. And then it turned into, I'm looking at this person, I see his gear score, it's like, oh, well, this guy's okay. Well, this guy's shitty. Oh, well, this guy has 6,000 gear score. Awesome. You know? And after like 5 years of playing, I found myself like, you know, it became boring. Like, because I found myself, I'm max level. I exclusively played the Lich King expansion because that's my favorite one. I played Cataclysm a little bit. I only played Cataclysm for like a year and then I, fucked off. Whatchamacallit, I played like 5 years of the Lich King expansion, and at some point I got to like the point where it was like I was sitting at my desk, my character's fully decked out, I'm level 80, and it's like I'm doing a heroic 25-man instance of the Ice Crown Citadel. It was like my 10th one, my 10th run through the Ice Crown Citadel in like 2 days, because I've been doing nothing but just spamming the Ice Crown Citadel looking for gear. And I found myself, I was looking, because like the Ice Crown Citadel in Lich King is like the most best, like that's the powerfulest place, because that's where Arthas is. That's where you fight like the Lich King, because like the Lich King is the final raid boss. When you kill him, you get like a cutscene, and it's considered that you've beaten World of Warcraft, you know? When you beat the final boss of the final raid, you know? It's like that for every expansion. For the original one, it was whatchamacallit, for the original game, it was you had to beat like these trolls in a troll village that were like terrorizing shit. In the Burning Crusade, you had to beat Kil'jaeden, you had to beat Archimonde, you had to beat Illidan, and you had to beat Kael'thas through the Black Gate. And then Lich King, you had to beat the Lich King, and then in Cataclysm, last boss was Deathwing. And then in the new one after Cataclysm, it was Pandera, Mists of Pandaria. You had to beat Grom. You had to beat Grom Hellscreen at Orgrimmar because he basically took control of the Horde as new Horde chief and became evil and unleashed evil everywhere. And in the new one, Warlords of Draenor, I think you have to beat Gul'dan. And Legion, you have to beat the Burning Legion. You literally have to go and beat the Burning Legion with Illidan, a guy that you once had to beat 4 expansions ago. You know? But like I already had beat him like 2 years into playing the game. I grinded. I wasted so much of my life just playing World of Warcraft. I grinded. I got all the gear. I went to Icecrown and I beat King Arthur. Well, he kind of is King Arthas. But I beat the Lich King, and whatchamacallit, I was fine. When you beat the Lich King for the first time, you're granted title. You know what titles are? If no, titles are just like these. They're like cool, like nicknames that you can put. Oh no, he dropped, but that's okay. Whatchamacallit, titles are like these cool little nicknames that you can put in the front of your character. Like for instance, if you travel through every zone in the World of Warcraft, if you travel through every zone in every major city in the entire map and it's expansive and you can't do it without cheats, I had to do it without cheats. And I didn't. I did it with cheats. But if you do without cheats somehow, you get Traveler. And then like let's say your username is Flo, Mr. Flo, and then you would be like Traveler Mr. Flo. Or if you get a good reputation with the Argent Crusade, and with the hunters, then you get the Ashen Verdict, because whatchamacallit, the Argent Crusaders teamed up with the Warsong clan. The Argent Crusaders, the Argent Dawn from the Argent Crusade teamed up with the Warsong clan, and they formed the Ashen Verdict. So if you get a good reputation with the Argent Dawn and with the Bloodsong clan, with the Warsong clan, you get like a title like Mr. Flow of the Ashen Verdict. And when you beat Arthas for the first time, you get Kingslayer. That's Traveler and Kingslayer are considered one of the best titles to have because they're the highest and they're the most difficult to get. And I found myself like sitting. It was the 10th time I was doing a run through of a 25-man heroic instance at Ice Crown, and I was gonna kill the Lich King for like the 10th time in 2 days, and I was like, I'm not having fun anymore. I'm literally just doing the same shit in the same place over and over again. Out of like, there's no challenge to it anymore. People just do this because it's the hardest thing, and people spam it for the items. It's like, I'm not having fun anymore. I don't want to do this anymore. I just quit.
Sorry about that.
It's okay, it's okay. I came back briefly to World of Warcraft. Oh god, it's so robot-y.
All over.
Oh damn.
Yeah, I'm on my phone.
Oh boy, that's so robot-y. Anyways, I'm gonna disconnect because I'm finishing up here.
The inner...
Thanks, Soggy, for joining. Anyways, then I take off. Thanks to everybody who was here. This was good. I enjoyed this toast talk, even though it was just kind of like 2 people, but that's okay. That was fine. That was enough, and I enjoy everybody who was here, and I enjoy fucking Toes hosting. That was great. Anyways, I'll be around. It's a lovely Tuesday afternoon. Go out and stream. Go out and do things. Go out and have fun. I'll come and have fun with you if I can. Till next time, please everybody take it easy. Have fun. Love y'all. Take care.